All right, welcome, ladies and gents, to a Nomad game, and this was a practice game for the Wandering Warriors Cup tournament. Here in the teal, we've got Derp. Derp is playing as the Italians. And here in the purple, and I hope this is okay for you guys, let me know if it's not, we have Draken, who's playing as the Spanish. So, Wandering Warriors Cup going forward, we no longer have Spanish available. So this must have been from right before that first round. Derp was playing in this tournament. Draken also still in this tourney. And I think he's up against Hera this weekend or something. But anyways, both players are on Clown Legion. Both players play very aggressive styles. And we see a dock in the middle here for Draken. And Derp sees that villager there. And Derp's not going to be able to do anything about that. But Italian just seemed like a really good civ to counter Spanish. At least when I played in this tourney. But I think the closer the players are together, the better it is for Spanish when Spanish want to go for that castle drop. So what we've done with the Nomad version here is we have water towards the center most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. Both players have found that. And another thing we should bring up is that Derp actually knows Draken has docked in the middle. So when you're thinking Spanish, you're thinking safe fish, so you can get the food to go fast castle and then make conquistadors. And this fish is not going to be so safe if the Italian player knows you're right there. So that's something Draken should also keep in the back of his mind, because he did just see that villager from Derp. So he doesn't know exactly where Derp is docked, but he should have a thought that maybe Derp is going to be aggressive there. As far as other resources go, I mean, both players might be going for the same golds and stones. This stone here, it's easily accessible by both players. You look at the scouting for Derp. Derp might scout some resources up here like a boar, but there's not too much close by. And you could kind of say the same thing for Draken down here. I mean, okay, he's got golden stone. I might take that if I knew the enemy was over here. And I think he does now, by the way. I think he does know because he's lost his sheep. Hansa, the reason he's playing with Spanish is because this was played before Spanish was banned. So, this is, if you saw the title of my stream, this is Games of the Month, because we haven't done Games of the Week in a bit. So, first time we've been able to go through a list of games and just cast Rex for a bit. But I wasn't expecting to see Nomad here. This is pretty cool. Because we got a real strong preview of how good Spanish were in that first round of Wandering Warriors Cup. This was a ranked game? No, this shouldn't be a ranked game. Are you sure this is a ranked game, Ethan? There's no way that they don't have WW Nomad within ranked. So this must have been some type of a game they played amongst themselves just to practice something. Would make sense, right? Because they are teammates and all that. I'm really glad people have been enjoying Wandering Warriors Cup so far. I have as well, and I think this weekend, I think the round of 32 and the round of 16, it's just going to get even better. So, okay, let's think. How would I have approached this if I'm Draken? He knows where your fish are. I think if he knows where your fish are, you almost have to go competitive on water. You have to try. It's tough against Italians, but I think you have to try. Derp probably will also try and be competitive on water for obvious reasons. So I could see both players going for their second docks and feudal somewhere around here. And then it could be a little bit of a race to some of these resources too, depending on what they've scouted. One of the best things you can do against Spanish is stonewall yourself, mine stone, and then drop your own castle and make Genoese crossbow if you're Italians. But I'm pretty sure that Derp knows Draken's here. They both have lost sheep somewhere around where the TCs are, so they know they're close. They're next door neighbors here. A bit of walling could be good. It's normal to fight over the fishing ships, but we'll see when they click up here in just a second. I think wherever they dock the second time, it's not going to be ideal. I guess they'll use this villager. So Draken will probably... There's two things that'll happen here. Draken will pull this villager off of the shorefish and dock to the right and maybe run into Derp if Derp were to send a villager from his TC. Or he goes to the left, which wouldn't be a bad thought because it looks like there's going to be more open water over here than over here. And then he finds out that Derp has already been there if they don't find each other on water here in a second. So if they find each other there could be a Vil fight, because you can fight with villagers, and obviously both of them are going to have their Vils. This is around the time we're going to see that click up. And look at Derp. He's making houses on this stone. That is the stone that Draken has scouted. Draken's going to make a mill. Interesting. Interesting he's making a mill. If he was going to compete for water, I think he would actually make a lumber camp so we could get his wood upgrade. This might still be fast castle for Draken. Okay, he sees the enemies docked there. He got scared. Might want that little bit of extra food, and now he's going to click up to the next age. I mean, still could make a lumber camp, right? Still is more than fine. And now you've got Derp walling. He still has respect that Spanish could be problematic for him. And actually, I take it back. I think Derp is going fast castle still. Keep in mind, this was a bit of a practice game for these two. Probably before they even played any of their games in the tourney. There goes Draken. And yeah, he is looping around this way. Derp does not notice that. So there will be a second dock for Draken. It's not ideal. It's not an eye dock. Not an ideal dock. You do only have 2 deep fish around, but he wants to get the second dock up as soon as possible because he wants to be able to make fire galleys. I think overall, I do disagree with the approach for the Italian player to know where the Spanish player's fish is. I just not even be aggressive against it. But there's a lot of things I disagree with that happen, and I really enjoy watching it, so. And Derp saw the Vil run past and tried to stop it, and now I think Derp's going to try second dock. But Derp's on gold already. And Derp invested a lot into walls here, so Derp doesn't really have the wood for any of this. You can't just change your game plan into fighting for water now if you're Derp. Oh, wait, he's got a second dock. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Now, what they don't know is that this is actually opened up. They might think this is a middle pond, which can happen sometimes. Both players could have scouted with a fishing ship, but they chose not to. All right. Now we've got the double dock. Double dock strategy. I like it. So, double dock from Draken. This seems fairly standard. He's also got plenty of food coming in here. It might not seem like it, but he's brought in 4 deer, plus 200 food come in from the shorefish. He's got a healthy amount of food. He's looking to protect the fishing ships on water. Derp is now kind of sailing away to keep his fish safe for the time being. But the reality is, if it's 2 dock versus 2 dock, and you're this late to feudal age, remember, it's cheaper for him, guys. It's cheaper for him to do everything that he needs to do here. It's cheaper for the fishing ships. It's cheaper for him to also go up to the next stage. It's a sign that things didn't necessarily go according to plan. Now, over here, the dock villager's still around, and she's going to make a market. And this is a very good build order from Draken. And I talked about this the other day. I really think Draken can do big things in this tourney, and he already has, to be fair. But okay, Derp, good job, though, to save his fish and maybe recover here. And he is walled. So he doesn't have to be too terrified of the opponent. Not to mention that Draken will probably go to stone. At least that's what you typically see. And if he goes to stone, it'll be a while till he gets a castle up in the castle age. What I like about this dock is that it's so much more efficient long-term for Derp. And that could lead to more docks as well. I think Draken might actually give up on water a little bit here. I say a little bit because at this point, he's fighting to kill the opponent's fish, but not to keep his own fish protected. Only 150 food there. I'm not going to change the colors now. We're committed to teal and purple. Sorry about that, buddy. We can switch that for future games. Obviously, we don't cast with crazy colors too frequently, but I also get kind of tired of red and blue. My issue is more so if people have color blindness, and I feel bad if people can't see things as easily. Here comes a demo for Derp, and it feels like this could swing for him on water, but because he was later to feudal age and had to recover, he's now later to castle age due to investing into recovering, if that makes sense. Like, way later. Like, doesn't even have his buildings yet. I think what will happen here is if we can see a demo! Oh, that was almost an amazing demo. It actually ended up working out there. Draken did get hit by that one, but Draken didn't get hit by Derp's demo in the middle because of that. Yeah, Derp's uptime is just really poor here. So I think this was before he played any of his games in WWC, because this is a player who really looked good in that tourney as he moved past round 1. Unfortunately, he was up against Velez in round 2, which is one of the best players in the world. All right. Blue and red or riot. Then other people were like, let's keep the unusual colors. Yep. And how good would it be for Draken if he just drops a castle here? Draken about to drop a castle. And I'm struggling to see what Derp can do. And Derp loses the repair villager here, too. That said, still has good numbers. Well, good execution from Draken. If he could maybe land a demo, he'll be liking life. But, again, the fish are about to run out for him. He's now outnumbered. So his focus is now going to be primarily on the land. Okay, this is what I would do if I'm Derp. I would stonewall 5 minutes ago. That's what I would have done. You know the opponent's over there. I think I would have stonewalled a long time ago. But from here, you have to prep those stonewalls fast, man. And what really hurts him is that he doesn't actually know there's stone over here. So if he probably doesn't want to stonewall too much, because he might need his stone. Oh, jeez. Fishing ships go down for Draken. As you look over here, you can see he's on the stone. You can see he's going to berries now. And he's adding farms, so he doesn't have a lot of food income to make conchs. But conquistadors are wicked strong. And you've got to finish the gate, because unfinished gates don't have armor. Okay, he's going to add a market. Okay, creative. Creative. That would be market number 2 for him, but he does need to keep these conquistadors out. Conquistadors are terrifyingly strong. Got 16 attack, and 2 villagers have already gone down for Derp. There's the Vil. That was the Vil that was up here. I was kind of hoping Draken would keep her up there for some reason. She might still survive, actually. And Draken may be thinking about another castle as he comes forward. And now Derp hits the castle age. Alright, so we see triple monastery from Derp. He's going to go crazy monks. Still so important that he's got fish. I'd love to see him make another dock over here pretty soon. Just keep bringing in as much fish as possible. Fishing is strong, but redocking is what makes it strong, as we see Draken with another castle on his face. Monday. So, monks have 9 range. Conchs have 6. The issue becomes that conversions take time, and you need a little bit of RNG on your side. If Draken gets upwards of maybe 10 conchs, you have to have probably 5 to 6 monks to feel okay. And that's what Derp's trying to do. So Derp is now escaping. He still had stone for a second TC, which is great. So he's going to place that there. And he might even find these resources if he uses the rest of stone he has for an outpost. But, I mean, pretty soon, Draken's going to be breaking through. I guess the issue for Draken still is the fact he doesn't really have the food yet. He's choosing to create villagers out of his TC, which obviously makes sense. But conquistadors also cost food, so this is going to take time. So David, happy lunch break, man. There you go. Derp finds gold, which is huge because he might be off of this one soon. And Draken is buying his resources, but you're really seeing how the Spanish player struggles if they don't have the fish. Oh, come on, Derp. Get me another dock. It's worth making a transport, guys. A transport over here. Oh, it'd be amazing. Also, good job from Draken. I'm not sure how he did this, but he's got a fire ship. If he could kill those fishing ships, that'd be a sneaky play, and I think it would work well. But okay, Draken probably feels like he's forced enough reactions now. And so Draken now is going to invest into the town center. So he's not going all in conch. He's kind of faking it. And I talked to Sebastian about this. Sebastian is a player who played in this tourney. He's around my rating. And he was like, T90, what do you suggest against Spanish? Because we were trying to strategize. The plan was for us to do 2 full training days before our sets with, well, me against Tato and him against Capwatch. But then I was sick. So, anyways, he was like, what do you do against Spanish? Blah, 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 blah. And this is actually before his first round, I guess. And I said Stonewall with Berbers and Italians and go into your unique unit. That's what I'd suggested. But his thing was, in his practice games, people would castle drop him. He'd prep for the all-in, and then they would just boom behind it. And that's so tricky here, right? Because Draken is essentially... He's shown a play that would normally lead to about 15 conquistadors being here right now. But he's not doing that. Okay, we all know that I would love to see a transport ship. But right now, Derp is really focused on these conks. He's making a lot of monks. And I think he's made enough monks to force the conks away. In this number, there's no way the conks can do damage there. If you look at Derp, he did find stone. He's actually taking the stone here. So he didn't find the stone over here. I think he might if he continues to outpost. Feel like it's better for Draken long term in terms of stone and gold because there's so much over here and he's unthreatened right now. As Derp sells his wood, and wait a second, people. Wait just a second here. It's cheaper to go feudal. It was cheaper to go castle. Derp did all of that, but he was slow. I think Derp's going to go Fast Imp. Oh, this is going to be such a good game. This is all the makings of a legendary game. So the monks are going to force the conks away, right? The second you hear the Wololo, you have to run. I think, okay, and I'm surprised. I was going to say, you have to be over here if you're Draken. Here he comes. And now the monks are going to show up, but the monks are really slow and really old. I think in the end, he will be okay here. The monks arrive. Yeah, and Draken knows he has to run, but now Draken knows he's trapped. Okay, Draken knows he's going to lose these things regardless, so he's just going for villager kills. Getting villagers on stone is going to be such a crucial thing here. And now Derp has the conks! Wow, that was funny. But yeah, getting villagers on stone is crucial here because... Oh, and he's found the stone over here now. Perfect. Derp wants to drop his own castle and then make trebs to treb this down. However, throughout all this time, Draken is on 4 TCs. So keep an eye on the vill count. The vill count has changed so much because this TC is not producing vills. This TC is not producing vills. He doesn't have any town centers producing villagers now, Derp. So he needs to make sure that he pushes his back, but he also needs to make sure that he gets more economy, and that's a tricky balance. Again, for me, it's all because you're so terrified of Spanish. You think they will not have a lot of eco. And behind this, Draken has just been booming like a madman. Now, guys, I think the best thing for Draken to do here, and it feels so odd, but I think the best play for him is to go light cav and stay in Castle Age for a bit. If he sees the opponent's imp, he knows the opponent will get monk upgrades. But based on the score, he should know that he's got a significantly better economy. And going imp doesn't really help you that much against monks. Light cav is still pretty good against trebs and still pretty good against monks. I think the risk would be if you spent your 1,000 food and 800 gold to go imp, you might not have the military to defend. So, I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now, but he's got a lot of resources, and he's adding an archery range. The other thing that sucks is, do you really want to make horses against Italians? Oh, he's making a transport. Wait, where's the transport at? Making out of what dock? Ah, there. Okay. I think he wants to get a villager over here so he can fish freely. Something he could have done a bit earlier, I think. And he's found that fire, which is kind of funny. Wasted 2 demos on it. So 1 TC for Derp. He's very much cramped here. And in his mind, he knows how strong Spanish is. And, oh, he's going to transport the conks. Oh my god, I didn't think about that. That's a really good play. He's got 5 conquistadors. He hasn't really been able to use them. We see Skirm as the choice for Draken. I still feel like I disagree with that, but I don't know. Maybe he knows the conks are coming and he needs a counter to that. And these are conquistadors that he donated to the enemy for a few villager kills. And now suddenly he's got to abandon this area. And the idle time's going to be insane. And even though he has 102 villagers, his castles are starting to fall. And this is going to get worse and worse for him as Derp is now going to expand his eco a teensy bit. He's made his own conks to counter the conks that he used to have. This one conquistador's like, Dad? Dad, is that you? He's like, hi, son. This is awkward. Okay, skirms just get one-shotted, man. But there is a monk here, okay? The monk could get conversions and convert this guy back, and nope. He said no thank you. And the micro for Derp has honestly been insane. I think that might be down to the fact he's not producing out of so many TCs. Because if you're producing out of so many TCs, that's another thing you have to focus on it. Oh my goodness, Derp's micro though. This is relentless pressure. As castle number 2 is about to go down, and guys, Draken could get housed here. That's something you don't usually think about, is making houses. He is making the houses, I guess. But with how many villagers he's producing and the skirms he's producing, and also losing 2 castles, this catches up with you really quick. Now, Derp is kind of at the limit for resources. I love this castle drop, though. I think that castle's perfect. You know the opponent's going skirms now as well, as we see these conks continue to run around and use their mobility. The skirms are going to chase them down still. Okay, Derp sees the castles going up, knows there's a lot of work to do. Great game. Great game. And now he's housed. But instinctively, he's going to make houses where he sees villagers. And a common thing for players is to always go back to their starting TC, because that's the first TC the game always takes you to, and always make your buildings there. But that happens to be on the front as well. So I guess he's got the castle on the back. Still one conk around, but I think that gets dealt with now, as we still have Draken in this age. So at this point, maybe, like, if you don't go light calf, I think maybe you should have gone imp. I don't know. He's getting heresy right now. Isn't that 1,000 gold? Heresy means that when a unit gets converted, it just dies instead of switching sides. He's paranoid. He saw what happened with the conks earlier. And he knows that Derp, his CL teammate, is good with conversion. So, I mean, those villagers were just converted. They're now going to collect gold. They've now got a new job. The Trebs are going to take out this town center. So that's going to be a goner. No handcart for you, Draken. And the pressure, people. The pressure is on. That Derp could really use some siege, though. Okay, he's going to finish the siege workshop. Still, only 2 town centers behind this for Derp. He's got limited gold and stone to work with. And for Draken, he's massing a bunch of skirmishers now. That's a lot. It's never ideal to be using monks against skirms. And heresy means that when the conversions come in, the units just die. Which is huge because the skirms will always target the monks then. Normally what would happen is they'll automatically target the next closest thing, which would be their friends. Or who used to be their friends. But that's not what we're seeing here. And I think Derp's just picked up on the fact that heresy's in. So he is to run away with the monks. The Trebs probably need to be packed up, though they are attacking the skirms. And now we see a barracks for Derp. And I think he's going to add some condo tierro. The condos are pretty strong here, and condos would take care of the skirmishers pretty quickly. Actually, as I say that, he's getting scale barding armor, so maybe he goes knights? I personally would go condos. They're unique to the Italians, and they're really strong for what they are. It's a time window thing here, right? As more conks come in, and those trebs are going to go down. Draken holding on, but he gets rocked. That was such a big shot. But for Draken, he does have the eco, remember. He does have the eco. He's not the one that's necessarily on the clock. He's adding more farms back here. He still has more skirms in queue. He just needs to hold from this and stabilize a little bit. So for Derp, it's not a bad spot for him, truthfully. But I think he should not push too far forward anymore. And he needs to wait until he has better economy. Notably, he needs to get villagers that are on gold onto farms right now. 32 on gold is a lot. Is this a point in time where maybe Draken could go imp? He's invested so much into castle. Here, this will look different. Just look at the resources collected. Draken's collected so much more. The 2 mangonels are a problem. These are castle age skirms. And make it 4 mangonels now. And we're going to see some knights as well from Derp. And I guess he doesn't really need imp upgrades for this to be successful. Because it's not like the opponent's in imp. And the monks are constantly getting conversions. I can feel the stress and anxiety for Draken as he's now going for light cap, which I think is a brilliant addition. Also, great opportunity to kill monks here. There's a lot of monks. They're not really converting. And the skirms, I guess you can always make more of them. But, like, that's a lot of skirms going down at the same time. And Derp takes the score lead. Derp takes the military lead. Heresy has helped, obviously. But now Knights are coming in, and it's still Castle Age for Draken. And skirms are looking so bad now. He's still going to make conks. He's going to fall back to another castle. Look at this eco, man. But it's been constant pressure from Derp. And now he's making Knights, and that's where all that gold's going to go into. And he comes in with villagers. He's going to drop a castle here as well. Wow, this is ridiculous. Derp still is way behind in population, guys. He's still 50 eco behind. But he's spending his resources a little bit better than Draken is. And he's forcing reactions. Simply because he's taking the initiative. The problem here is you kind of need to mass conquistadors. And if you mass conquistadors, they're just going to get converted. So Light Cav looking really good now. I was waiting for Light Cav. I think opening with Light Cav would have been a little bit better. But in the back of your mind, you're always worried about Italians making Genoese crossbow. And what is Derp going to do the second he sees the Light Cav show up? He's going to make Genoese crossbowmen out of his castles. I guess you then have skirmishers, though. So it's a tricky balance. And wow, Draken's imping! How many people thought he was kind of dying over the last couple minutes? I know I did. I thought he was kind of dying. I'd love to see Derp make a treb or two here, just to start taking out buildings. Honestly, you could just convert the buildings. That would be smart. Convert the buildings, and then they immediately get destroyed. He's getting atonement now, so he can convert enemy monks. I'm not sure how useful that is. But holy moly, what a game. Yeah, here he goes. He's going to go for the conversions. And with the way monks work, you actually can kind of start your conversion on a building. And then you can just switch it to a unit. And it leads to faster conversions because you've started your charge up. It's kind of like if you start to convert one unit, and then another unit comes in and you switch your conversion. Like that. Bodcanera in now on the Genoese. They do have a bonus against anything on a horse. Still tons of food and wood eco for Draken as he's getting pushed further and further back. This is an amazing game. This is so sick. And this was before they played in the tourney too, so this is some practice stuff, you know? Almost the entire map is covered right now. Genoese still need a lot of upgrades, like ballistics, like armor. It's a very fragile force. If the monks aren't here, this is a better situation for Draken. And I think if Draken can afford to get his blacksmith upgrades, keep in mind that Spanish blacksmith upgrades do not cost gold. And he were to go full skirm, full hussar. I think full skirm, full hussar can at least hold here. Though I honestly think it clears up. Draken has lost so much over the last couple minutes. But he's kept his cool. He's still adding more buildings. He's continued to expand. It's the farm expansion that really, I think, has been the most impressive. Because everywhere you look, there's farms for him. And this is on Derp now to push and do damage. He needs to make this hurt for Draken before Draken can get his upgrades. Also, this is like the second time that we've seen upgrades come in. And he's researching his upgrades at that blacksmith. Derp! Bro, convert the blacksmith from him. It seems like that's a funny thought, right? But if he were to convert that or destroy it, it would make such a big difference. He, of course, will assume that Draken will just make another one. What a flex that is. Derp doesn't have to worry about these buildings. These are just houses in a market. Derp doesn't have to worry about those buildings. He's getting Onager now because he knows skirms is a threat and he needs to back up. Yeah, the second he sees these skirms and he knows Onager isn't in, he needs to back up. Derp needs a couple minutes to mass his military, and Draken is here to not allow that. Here he comes. Here he comes. Just Castle Age upgrades on the Light Cav, but there's still plenty of them. And I think skirms are the biggest issue. It's the Light Cav that allow the skirms to have, and the conks to have success. They can take out the monks, and they can also take out the siege. A lot of monks have gone down there. Monks are the most expensive unit on the field right now, really. And now here comes Draken. He's following it up with Trebs immediately, which I love. And Onager completes. But now there's only one of them. And I just don't know if there's a whole lot more from Derp to back this up right now. There's enough conks to maybe go in for the Onager. They try. They miss a couple times, but they end up getting the kill. The monks and the Genoese are getting pushed back. I love how Draken just immediately followed this up with Trebs. I love how he's still getting freaking upgrades in this blacksmith. And it's such an important upgrade as well. Like, this is insane. It's so important. If he wouldn't have those upgrades, who knows how that fight would have gone. But the blacksmith is somehow completing them. It's at 92 HP. And now he's going to be able to protect the blacksmith because he's pushing back. And guys, it's 62 military versus 10 right now. 190 population versus 117. And Derp is desperate. And Derp is going to make monks. That's just not going to work. That is just not going to work. Look at this economy for Draken. This is gorgeous. He, of course, can sell some stuff if he needs gold, because he has kind of needed gold for a while. He probably forgot that there's gold there to mine. But truthfully, he doesn't need anything more than just Skirm and Lightcap at this point. He was worried about monks, and he was worried about Genoese crossbow. Now, if Onager would have been in when there was 3 or 4 mangonels there, that would have been a little different. But I still feel like the beauty of having eco is you can just spam units all the time. You don't have to really worry too much about having really effective trades. And for Derp, he needed really effective trades for the majority of the time there. As the 35 HP blacksmith completes the final blacksmith upgrade now for Draken. Which is ridiculous. Yeah, the Trebs here could start to focus on the siege workshops. It's honestly really risky to have your skirms next to the siege workshops like this. So he's playing a dangerous game, but I mean, I think he realizes he's won it. And GG. Wow, that was so good. that was such a good game. I think that if we were to talk about what could have maybe gone differently for Derp, we need to focus on what the issue was for Derp. And the issue for Derp with that imp push was simply lack of eco, right? However, he never pushes back the castles. He never gains this hill if he adds significantly more eco. That's what makes it interesting, right? So there's risk reward with that type of a play. I think had he sat back more, Draken just would have boomed more, and Draken would have won even easier. So it wasn't necessarily bad from Derp. What I think you need to look at, truthfully, is while he's pushing, he needs to macro a little bit more. And the one thing I keep circling back to, because I'm biased about this, is when you win water, getting a transport and docking here, just adding like 10 more fishing ships, or even just having these fishing ships more efficiently working here, it makes such a big difference for you. You have no idea. It will bring in thousands of food. It helps you so much. And with cheap fishing ships, maybe that's what he does. But I say maybe because, like, how are you supposed to do all that when you're also microing 25 monks and clicking them individually and doing everything else? It's really tricky. The other thing I would like to talk about now is maybe some condos. You know, condos don't require many upgrades to be strong. And so maybe some condos in the early stages when he was pushing here would have been beneficial when we saw the skirms. But, like, still a great game. And I think full credit needs to go to Draken. This is not a game where we look back and say Derp made many mistakes. I think he could have wiped up water faster, but I mean, overall won the water anyways. And full credit to Draken for not relying on the conks. And that is why Spanish were banned for the remainder of WWC. Everyone picked Spanish because they can terrify you with the conks and they can free boom behind, or they could just straight up kill you with the conks. They almost always have to respect that, which is why you saw the triple monastery, which is why Derp didn't have as many TCs. Great game. All right, let's look at the resources. To the viewers who might be watching this later on YouTube, the end screen looks different right now, and I'm trying to get used to this. Okay, this might look a little... This looks more similar to what we're used to here. You know, you see the comparison of the eco and the comparison of... Wait, is this... Something's not right here. World Pop 57. It used to be that dark was military and that light was eco. I guess this is accurate. Excuse me. Any change and my brain completely breaks. I guess that's still the same here. We just happen to have a few other things up here like technologies. Draken was able to afford a lot of technologies, of course. But, you know, overall, the timeline does look different. Just look here. And Draken had way more food, way more wood, and way more stone. And again, He didn't need that much gold because his blacksmith technologies don't cost gold, which is an underrated bonus. And he was able to push back with just trash. A GG there. I really enjoyed that one. And then, okay, so this is... Maybe this is more along the lines of what our timeline looks like. But wait a second. Society? We've got more stuff here. It's the breakdown of eco and fishing ships. Interesting. It's going to take some getting used to. This is going to take some getting used to. We've got lots of data here, okay? We've got lots of data. Data's cool. But the person presenting the data needs to know what they're doing. So I'll get more used to it as we move into more videos.